Okay, I just wanted to sort of show how I light a fire. I know there's a lot of guys out there that don't use coal, a lot of guys using gas or an induction furnace. If you are using coal, or if you're ever somewhere where you might be using it, it's pretty easy to start, really straightforward, not much to it. You can just wad up a small piece of paper, drop it in the fire pot, turn the air to it, let it burn, get the paper really ignited, and once you've done that, put a medium blast of air to it and start putting the coal on the perimeter of the paper, not directly on top of it. And once you've built like a circle, a perimeter around the wad of paper, then you can slowly start putting a little bit on top. And once you see the yellow-green smoke coming from the fire, like that right there, once you see that, you know you pretty much got the fire lit. And then you can make sure that it's burning evenly within the fire pot. If you have to use your poker to kind of push the fire towards the center, you can do that. Poke some holes in top to cut down on the smoke. And then depending on what you're going to be forging, in this case we're going to be using just a piece of 1/2-inch bar, so the fire won't need to be much bigger than that. But what I usually do is build the fire in proportion to what you're making. So if I were going to be forging this piece, I would add more coal to the back of the fire and to the side and to this side, and create more of a mound, and then let the fire burn for 5 minutes or 10 minutes until you try to put the piece in there. I thought it might be good to spend some time about talking today about like mechanics and posture at the anvil, good habits, bad habits, how effective you are utilizing the heat, not having to reheat so many times. I think for right-handers, or left, you basically want your opposite foot forward, so my left foot is forward. A lot of times I see people, especially when they first start, they're standing too far back and they're reaching for the material rather than standing over it. And your range of motion should be using the shoulder as well as your arm. I see this a lot, which guys are going from the elbow down. They don't use any shoulder at all. Your range of motion should really, there's times when I have almost felt the air from the hammer going beside my head. And the guys that I've seen where they really have an efficient range of motion or hammer blow, they stay pretty compact. They're in really tight. Their arm isn't going up here, or they're not just using a short stroke. It's just a nice, even blow. So let's go through some of the not so good habits. Feathering the material or kind of swiping at it would be one thing that I see pretty often, and it's basically looks like this. I don't really know if that's doing a whole lot, as you can see. All right, here's something I've given some thought to and that I don't think is a very good habit, and that is when guys are forging, every 2 or 3 hammer blows, they're hitting the anvil to, I don't know if it's to create rhythm or they don't really have in mind what they're going to be doing, but if you know what you're going to be doing, you shouldn't have to stop and hit the hammer on the face of the anvil. Your rhythm should be hammering on the piece that you're working on. Something that I've talked a lot about as well during demonstrations, and if I'm working with somebody, and things that I've noticed and things that I've learned as well, is that the efficiency that you have while you're working and maximizing your posture, your mechanics. And it was explained to me in a not while I was forging, but I was golfing with my brother one time, and I had that club, and I was swinging as hard as I could to hit that ball, and I felt like if I swung, the harder I would swing, the further I could hit the ball. And so my brother said, "Look, Brent, stop what you're doing and take a half swing and tighten up your form a little bit." And once I started doing that, I started hitting the ball even further than when I was swinging hard. And it's the same kind of thing at the anvil. The better your form is, the more power you're going to get out of every hammer blow. So a loose, sloppy hammer stroke, even no matter how fast you're swinging or how hard you're trying to hit, is not going to be as effective as a well-monitored, conscious, good posture, good mechanics, good form, keeping things in tight, controlling what you're doing, and really focusing on consistency in the way that you're swinging.